Hey Tackle Warehouse fans, Mike Iaconelli just wrapped up the bass event at Toledo Bend. I want to talk to you about how I caught him this week. Had a great tournament, ended up with an 18th place finish, super event for me. And I used a two-prong approach this week, which is deep water and shallow water, but I used it opposite of what a lot of guys did out here this week. You know, if you watch, a lot of guys fish shallow early, a shad spawn, and then they went deep late. I did the reverse. I fished my deep stuff early, and I waited for that sun to get high, about 9, 10 o'clock, and then I would go shallow and fish a bluegill pattern with big bass eating bluegill shallow. But early in the morning, I had a couple key ledges, 20 to 25 foot, and I caught them on 2 key baits this week. The first one was a football head jig. And this is that brand new Missile Jigs football head, and it's called a head banger. And I used it in a 1/2 and 3/4, and this is a color called candy grass. This is what cost most of my fish. I just put a Berkeley chunk trailer on the back. And the thing that makes this jig so key is its head design keeps it from snagging. A couple of my spots had rocks and shell beds, and a couple of them had heavy trees. This thing comes through the cover extremely well. And this is the first bait I fished. But then after I fished it through with the football head, I tried to ignite a couple last fish before I left using a big spoon. And this is a really great way to trigger them when they're not eating. And I used a 1 ounce Molix Lover Spoon. And this is a really cool structure style spoon. And if you look at it, I'm going to turn it around for you, and you see that it has a built-in stinger hook, and it's got a magnet. The magnet keeps the hook close to the body, and you're going to get a few extra fish with that bait. And I basically just ripped it up off the bottom, tried to elicit a reaction strike. I fished both those baits, both the jig and the spoon, on the same rod and reel. It's a Ike Series Abu Garcia 7.2 medium heavy with an Abu Garcia MGX Revo reel. That's at 8:0 to 1 ratio, real fast ratio. And I fished them both on 17-pound Berkeley Trilene 100% fluorocarbon. 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'd pack bags out deep, I'd go shallow, and I'd go to flipping anything that was in front of me. Cypress trees, green bushes, docks, anything that had shade around it and attracted bluegill was absolutely key. Those fish remaining shallow were chewing bluegill. And whenever I get around bluegill, these are my 2 favorite baits to flip. Same bait I used on the Delaware River, and that is the Berkeley Havoc Pit Boss. And that's the color when I get around bluegill. It's called Okeechobee Crawl. It's green pumpkin with blue metal flake. Perfect. And I fished that one with a 5/16. Anytime the cover was a little more sparse, I flipped the Pit Boss. But when I got to those thick bushes, the green bushes, the heavy cypress trees, where I really had to put it in something, that's when I went to the Berkeley Havoc Devil Spear. And I flipped that on a 1/2 ounce VMC tungsten weight with a 5/0 VMC extra heavy flipping hook. And the color I used on the Devil Spear is Green Pumpkin Magic, which is green pumpkin, silver metal flake. Again, looks just like a baby bluegill. I fished both those baits on the 7.6 medium heavy action Ike Series Abu Garcia rod. That same reel, the MGX Revo, the 8.0 to 1 retrieve, and I bumped my line up to 20-pound fluorocarbon on that shallow water. A lot of times during the post spawn, you got to do a lot of different things. I did it here, went deep, went to the shallow, had a great event. Mike Iaconelli, Toledo Bend. See you later.